This is the Business Makers Show, heard on the radio and seen online at thebusinessmakers.com. I'm joined now by Pradeep Anand, the founder of CETA Resources, LLC. And we're here to talk about the 2013 India Institute of Technology's Innovation Conference. Pradeep, welcome to the Business Makers Show.
Well, Russ, thank you for having me.
You bet. Tell us about the Indian Institute of Technology.
The Indian Institutes of Technology are I would say the best engineering and management institutes in India.
Okay.
If you've seen the TV show Big Bang Theory, the bunch of Big Bang Theory kids, we are those kids from India.
All right, way to go. Now, based on what I know and what I've heard and seen, there would be those that would argue it might be the most prestigious technology institute in the world. I mean, it's been on 60 Minutes, it's been featured in many U.S. newspapers. There are thousands of graduates of the program that are in the United States, thousands actually right here in Houston, correct?
That is correct. There are about 60,000 graduates in the United States. I would say about 3,000 in Houston alone.
Okay.
They are in very prestigious senior positions, as well as all the way down to new graduates in the workforce in our own beautiful city.
Okay, now from what I understand, it is not easy to get into IIT.
No.
Okay.
It's almost an impossibility to get in. What makes IITs great is it's what is called the joint entrance exam.
Okay.
Any student who has passed a specific year of school or college can write that exam. But what they do is actually pick the top 1,500 at my time,
okay,
maybe 3,000 or 4,000 right now.
Okay.
But you have a national ranking, and that's it. There are no SAT exams, no essays, nothing. It's your total scores that you get in that one exam defines your acceptance into an IIT.
Okay, now are there other technology universities in India that are not part of IIT?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hundreds, thousands, maybe.
Okay.
They're all prestigious,
okay,
because IITs cater to a very small number of students.
Right.
And there are substantially more number of people who are interested in engineering studies.
Okay, so you say you go to IIT. I mean, is it like getting a graduate level engineering degree, or is there kind of a undergrad and grad?
It's everything.
Okay.
IITs offer undergrad degrees, graduate degrees, and PhDs.
Okay.
World class.
Okay.
Okay, and the undergrad degrees are the most prestigious ones because of the entrance exam. But then we always like to believe that the undergrads basically keep our professors honest.
Okay.
Okay. So we get very high caliber professors,
okay,
who then turn our graduate students into stellar stars. And then, of course, PhDs.
Do you have students from outside of India that come into IIT?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The IITs, during the 50s and 60s, India's engineering program was considered to be some of the best in the world. I had a lot of classmates who came from other developing nations.
Okay.
They came from Africa, they came from the Middle East, they came from and the Far East, Southeast Asia. So and there were not that many. I'm not saying that they were like 50% of the crowd.
Right.
No,
right,
there weren't that many. Sri Lanka.
Right.
The number of students that came in actually came from countries where they had bilateral relations, and they came in as exchange students.
Okay. Now, is the curriculum taught in English?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
You have you need to qualify. The joint entrance exam is an exam in English that you need to pass.
Okay.
During my time, you got graded on it.
Okay.
And perhaps that's why I got in.
Well, let's talk a little bit more now about India and the United States relationship. I recently got to interview the Consul General to Houston from India, and a lot of our discussion centered around there is a unique connection between India and the United States. In this global world that we live in now, we like to think that we do business with everybody. There's been this infatuation with the development of China and capitalism breaking out there. But at the end of the day, when you look at what has happened, it seems like there's just, particularly in the category of technology, there's just so much more U.S. business with India, in technology. There are many more Indian educated people that are running U.S. companies than I think any other two-company relationship in the globe. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I mean, this is a very interesting relationship, not necessarily between two countries. I'm not talking about relationship between two governments.
Right.
Okay, because I can remember the time when President Nixon was, I guess, during President Nixon's time,
right,
the relationship wasn't very good.
Right.
Okay, and there were a lot of saber rattling going back and forth. However, the people of India and the people of the United States have always been the best of friends.
Right.
Indians admire Americans.
Right.
Okay, and of course, thanks to the Beatles, Maharishi Yogi,
right.
and
right.
all that business, there was a surge of the next generation of hippies and peaceniks
right.
who started migrating to India.
Right.
So there was the first attraction was a spiritual attraction,
right.
or at least some kind of a spiritual attraction. But after that, the next attraction that came along was the technical
right.
attraction. Now, India has a very, very long tradition of technology and science.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would hazard a guess that it's one of the longest in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of, and so India wasn't a country that discovered science and math and other aspects of modern living recently. Mm-hmm. It has always been in our genes.
Right.
So when newer discoveries came along in the realm of scientific discoveries, India got onto that bandwagon very quickly.
Now there also happens to be, Pradeep, it seems like an understanding and a passion for entrepreneurship
Absolutely.
too from Indians that might exceed that here in the United States, and therefore there are many Indian entrepreneurs in the United States, many that we've had here on the BusinessMakers show.
It's inherent in Indians, this whole concept of entrepreneurship, risk-taking, if you will. Risk-taking in a risk-reward environment. I'm not saying that risk-taking from a gambling
right.
perspective.
Right.
I just did my annual talk at Rice University today, and one of the things that stood out, since you brought up entrepreneurship, there are about 49 million entrepreneurs in India.
Interesting.
Okay, this is a statistic that I suddenly found myself presenting today, so I thought
right.
I'd bring that up.
Right.
But the more interesting thing is about 40% of startups in Silicon Valley
right.
usually will have an IIT graduate either as a founder or a CEO or in the C-suite.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't doubt that at all.
And in 2005, I mean, we did a lot during the technology boom. In 2005, the U.S. government, the Congress, passed House Resolution, I think it's House Resolution 207, recognizing the contributions of IIT graduates to the economy of the United States. So it's important to recognize that we are contributors to economies. Okay, we give a lot more than we take,
okay.
and we consider this our home.
Okay.
This the Indian assimilation, not just IIT, but Indian assimilation into the U.S. economy is just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, so let's shift to the focus of the interview, the upcoming 2013
Yes.
IIT Global Innovation Conference to be held in Houston, Texas this December, right?
That is correct. It's on December 6th through the 8th
Okay.
at the Hilton Americas Hotel.
Okay. Give us an overview of this conference.
Okay. Now, the theme of the conference is Inspiring Innovation for Tomorrow. Now, as you can tell, the acronym is IIT.
Right.
Okay. We want
Right.
branding.
That's cool.
But the real issue is when you have a conference, the theme is it's not good enough. It has to be something substantive. So we defined what does tomorrow look like. We picked a year, 2045, and said that tomorrow, 2045, the population of the world will be somewhere about 9 billion people. There are 7 billion right now. But the effect of that is that each individual out there has the right to be healthy and educated so that they can live good lives. I mean, this is very much part of the American dream.
Absolutely.
Pursuit of happiness, healthy, educated, and a good life. But the consequence of that is also going to be that we're going to need 50% more food, 30% more water, 50% more energy. So we asked ourselves the question, how do we get there from here? Rather than tackling this whole issue and leaving it, just a massive issue, what we did was create a framework. Mm-hmm. And that framework was what I call, in the sense, let's use steel threads to weave a tapestry of innovations for the future. So what is steel?
Steel threads.
Steel. Mm-hmm. Steel stands for sustainability, technology, education, energy, and life sciences. Okay. Right. So the content of the conference are elements related to these steel threads.
And you came up with this strategy of steel threads, right?
I do that for a living.
Okay, great. Well, it makes a lot of sense, and it seems like you covered the gambit of challenging problems in 2045, particularly with 9 billion people. It's almost overwhelming.
It is, and we're going to cover this in 48 hours.
Okay.
And we'd still give time for people to socialize, network, and have fun, because, as they say, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right. So give us an overview of the speakers that will be presenting at the event.
As I mentioned, the conference is over 48 hours.
Right.
Okay. It starts on Friday afternoon on December 6th, mm-hmm. And ends afternoon of December 8th.
Okay.
Now, there are 7 plenary sessions where speakers will address mm-hmm. the entire audience, mm-hmm. And we have 12 breakout sessions where the speakers will address partial.
Okay.
Now, so in these 19 sessions, we've got speakers who are world-class. The criteria for picking speakers are very simple. They've got to be thought leaders.
Okay.
World-class thought leaders. So our opening plenary speaker is Nobel laureate Amartya Sen. Okay. He won the Nobel Prize for Economics, professor at Harvard. Mm-hmm. He's a speaker. Andrew Gould, who was until recently chairman and CEO of Schlumberger,
right.
He's now currently chairman of BG Group.
Okay.
He'll be there. And then I have President Vicente Fox of Mexico.
Wow.
He's one of our speakers. Okay. And the list goes on and on from there.
And you have some Houston people too, though.
Lots of
Renu Couture.
Renu Couture is a speaker. Yeah. So is President Lebron of Rice University.
You have Ashok Balani.
Ashok Balani. Yeah. You have
Ram Shenoy.
Ram Shenoy of
ConocoPhillips. You have Mayor Anise Parker.
Mayor Anise Parker. Yeah. We have Harish, Indian Consul General.
Yes. My good friend.
Your good friend.
Yes. It's kind of presented as an IIT alumni event, but you're open to the public.
Yeah,
right?
It is open to the public. Right. More than 30% of the people who have registered for the conference are not IIT alumni.
Okay.
I mean, it's a simple
but 70% are.
Yeah, but I mean, when you put the name IIT, and especially, it's easier for us to reach an audience that identifies.
Right.
With the brand.
Right. So anybody can register if they wanted it. If they're interested in going, how do they go and register?
They go to iit2013.org.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds incredible. I think the benefit for attending is obvious if you're interested in the future of the planet. The benefit for the city of Houston is huge too, with this many people coming in to a conference.
Absolutely. I mean, there are different reasons why people attend a conference.
Right.
The first one is content. That's all I talked about.
Right.
But the other important issue, especially if you're a senior executive at a company or a recruiting manager, and if you're in the city of Houston, I'm bringing in engineers from out of town.
Okay.
Okay, you can stop stealing from each other.
Okay.
You know, when we talk to companies, what do they say? Oh, we're recruiting people, but they're coming from a sister company in our city.
Right.
We're not adding engineers to the city. This city needs at least 50,000 engineers over the next 5 years.
So you're saying, you're pointing out the advantage to Houston is that suddenly there's going to be an event where there's going to be some extremely qualified engineers in town.
And each one of them is capable of either leading an organization in the near future or start a company in the near future. And it is absolutely vital that the city of Houston and companies in Houston, especially the oil and gas related companies, they better show up.
Right.
Because this is one of the best opportunities to get world-class engineers.
Great point. Well, I really appreciate Pradeep, you coming in here and giving us a preview of the event, an analysis of the relationship between India and the United States and the benefit of this thing coming to Houston, Texas.
Thank you. Thank you, Russ, for having me.
You bet. That wraps up my discussion with Pradeep Anand in a discussion about the IIT Innovation Conference in Houston, December 6th, 7th, and 8th.
That is correct.
This year. All right. And this is the Business Maker Show, heard on the radio and seen online at thebusinessmakers.com.